Hello stream, my name's Mike. Today I'm going to be doing a speed run of Glittermitten Grove. It's a cute little city building, fairy resource management game. And if that doesn't necessarily pique your interest, just hold on for a few extra minutes. I think you're going to be surprised and pleased with what you see. It's a very, very chaotic run. It just blasts out of the gate. So I might not be able to do commentary for the first few seconds here, but then I'll try and describe what I'm working on. So if this was a marathon, we might have an incentive for the name of the village. I'm gonna call it Orb. Why not? All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so we see some crystals there, which means that we can dig and get them. Plant seed, and cut wood, and prism, house, torch. Okay. So while I'm waiting for them to build some of that stuff, no, I don't have enough yet. We need to have 16 sparkles so that we can do the big dig here. There we go. And because we were able to find some crystals early on, that means we can build a second prism, which will allow us to gather more sunlight, which will allow us to dig even further, even faster. And torch. 15, 16, perfect. Okay, timing's pretty good. We have a couple of rocks right off the bat, which are not what we want, but that's okay. We can take the food from the fairies and cast this light spell to see down the tunnels without having to build a torch, meaning that we can dig a little bit faster, a little bit further. Ostensibly, the goal would be to build a village up top here with like 50 fairies in it. We're gonna be doing some other stuff first here. I'm gonna be doing this chain of lighting and setting up torches so that we can get about 4.5 torch depths here, which is where we're gonna see some resources that we're trying to get. Now I've got to tell these fairies to quit doing things other than building torches. If we were to continue playing through this game the normal way, we would encounter winter. We would have to stockpile a ton of food. We'd have to build a whole bunch of pantries and wood sheds and deal with that. All the trees are gonna die in the winter. Instead, there's a door down here. Okay. Hey everybody, my name's Mike. We're going to be doing a speedrun of Text World. Text World is based on a game called ZZT. Now, here's a guy who doesn't want to let us through because we don't have a sword. We can just walk around him. He's based on Mido from Ocarina of Time. ZZT is a game by Tim Sweeney, who you may know as the creator of the Unreal Engine and... he's one of the founders of Epic. He didn't invent Fortnite, as far as I know. We collected an item called the autocorrect skates earlier, which let us corner a little bit better, and we just held Q and W, which let us punch ourselves. Hi, Mido. Bye, Mido. There we go. But the autocorrect skates make it a little bit slippery when you're moving around. Sometimes they go in a bit of a wacky direction. Now I'm playing Toaster Derivatives, which is a game where you add heat to a toaster to increase its height. It's sort of a mix of Flappy Bird and Cookie Clicker. And you may be wondering, where the heck did my fairy village go? We're like 2 minutes in. What is happening? This game, Glittermitten Grove, is technically part of a franchise called Frog Fractions, which was originally a web game. It had some odd moments in it, and overall people were entertained by it. And they kickstarted a sequel called Frog Fractions 2. Frog Fractions 2 turned into this huge ARG, this alternate reality game. People were getting shipped crates and being sent secret messages and links to YouTube videos that were hidden, and someone got like a hacked Luigi amiibo that gave them a hidden code. All this wild stuff getting spread across the internet. There was something called the iSigil ARG, where these secret symbols were hidden inside of about 24 completely unrelated indie games. And it all led to a person getting mailed a big button, and when they pressed that button, it launched an update for an unassuming game on Steam called Glittermitten Grove. It turns out that Glittermitten Grove is part of what they consider Frog Fractions 2. they consider Frog Fractions 2 to be the ARG itself, and then Glittermitten Grove is Frog Fractions 3. So that was the big reveal there. They also released sort of a Frog Fractions 4 in Hop's iconic Cap DLC for the Frog Fractions Game of the Decade edition. Oh, we showed the guy our sword, all right. There we go. These clubs here are gorillas. They like to chase you in a straight line very quickly and can sometimes be hard to dodge. Also surprisingly hard to dodge, in the next room are a bunch of cockroaches. This room is based on a Rogue-inspired game called NetHack. Rogue being the namesake of the roguelike genre, which had a later DOS or IBM release that looked kind of like this ZZT skin. Now this next area, we have to enter our age because the next minigame is a little bit freaky. And to do that, we have to answer a bunch of trivia questions from 1895. Now, unfortunately, I entered my age a little bit later than usual, which meant I got questions from a pool that are 10 years after when I'm used to the questions. Constancy, horsewhipped, truth is, melancholy, and a singer. There we go. See, these questions I know the answers to. And that was also that we could play Spaxris, which stands for Super Passive Aggressive Xenomorph Roommate Irritation Simulator, wherein we are rooms with the alien from the Aliens franchise, and we want him to move out, and to do that, we are just being an absolute nuisance. We are stealing his stuff, we're stealing his eggs, just wreaking havoc. And now we're in an alternate overworld, which is a bit of a stealth game. Did I explain the punch yourself button? I might have. You can hold Q and W to respawn at the area where you entered your current screen. Now we picked up a grenade and threw it. Unfortunately, the grenades in this game are just pairs, but they still splat on the wall and they can still distract these cops here. These umlaut A's. Yeah! Okay, we got a pretty good cycle on those. Here we go. And now that we're through here, we can go up here to Chess Invaders, which is an active time, real-time battle chess game. I am not the best at chess. If this was a marathon run, here's a great spot for some donations. But in lieu of that, I'll explain some of the game's mechanics. When you move your pieces, they have a cooldown. It follows the same general rules as chess. It even has fancy moves like castling, see? I believe that is referred to as a fancy move by the chess grandmasters. Do not take my rook. Really, though, I am, Okay. We'll see if I can do a slightly better job of... Oh, boy. King's right in the way of that guy, huh? Taking my rook. So this minigame's basically a 2.5-minute auto-scroller. We have to make sure that our king doesn't get taken, but our secondary goal, basically, is to have a straight line moving piece on the far left side. That'll allow us to capture the item that appears at the end of this game as quickly as possible so that we can proceed without having to get extra pieces in place and move around a bunch. Come on, bishop, take the bait. Oh, he's going there. All right. Was not expecting that. Oh, I lost a, well, we'll get some vengeance. What is speedrunning about but vengeance? Really, though? Gunning right for my king. Oh, nah. Thought so. But unfortunately, we have a little bit of cooldown for the queen, so we weren't quite perfect there. But still better than my queen getting captured, I guess. So next up, we have unlocked the bridge from the Atari game Adventure, which works pretty similar to how the bridge worked in that game. And we have to get some keys for the next section, so we're going to the key gen here, which, as in the standard of key gens, plays a sweet chip tune. We're gonna quit, go back into the menu, go back to the main game here. There we go. Use our newly acquired bridge for a little bit of a shortcut. And for the next part, we need to get an orange key. There were no orange keys on the overworld. I'm curious what people are thinking our solution is to get it. Here's a big empty yellow room. And now we're running through some clouds. There are a bunch of little hidden shortcuts in this game. They're supposed to be revealed through this compass item you get by playing a particular minigame, but if you know where they are, you can just get them. So we've painted ourselves orange, which has painted all of our keys orange, which now gives us the orange key. And we can use that to get to the frog room. The frog room is where the final part of the game is triggered, but we can't quite do that yet. You see, the frog speaks in a very particular language, and to speak to the frog, we need to capture all of these little symbols. These symbols each represent a word, and through normal gameplay, you're supposed to experiment and talk to the frog and eventually figure out what each symbol means. We've done that, we've routed out, we figured out the best way to talk to him and get what we need. And also, we have found the best paths to each of these symbols. There we go. There are 2 copies of each symbol in the game, so routing this was an interesting endeavor, especially with this time machine that we've unlocked. There we go. But there's also a category called all symbols where you collect all of the pieces. When you collect the first piece, it's yellow, and then all of the remaining copies of that piece turn pink. We call it purple sometimes. I don't know. But when you collect a purple piece, it plays something called a corn story, and you'll see one of those near the end of this run. So now we're talking to a frog. I'm gonna clear some little messages. We have a fairy pal called Titania. She's supposed to guide us through Glittermitten Grove, but we didn't really say much to her. So we tell this frog, push the blue crate, get the blue key, push the red crate, and then a gorilla shows up. The frog is freaking out. We tell the frog, hey, throw the gorilla some fruit. I'm sure that'll be fine. And then please push this red crate. And then the frog gets an angry phone call from his wife. She doesn't even want pears for dinner. We tell the frog, okay, your wife's a pet. Your wife is a cat. I'm sure she would be fine just eating your pet goldfish for dinner. And so the frog's fine with that. Finally pushes the thing. We hang out, gives us this other symbol. And now we're in the final gauntlet, which is supposed to be a run through of all of these alternate overworlds that we've experienced through the 8.5-hour playthrough of the game.
Foreign Master Sergeant John Jacob Christmas owed too much money on taxes, and his accountant informed him he needed to have a teen child pronto. Christmas started dating daytime soap star Monica Cruz, figuring that her fast-aging kid on the show was a result of genetics. Unfortunately, John Jacob's tax break never materialized, because corn was the dream of the last mammal alive in hibernation after a comet scoured the surface of the Earth.
I got caught up by the bomb. Sometimes I think the explosions are random sized. Most of them are within a range you can sort of guess, but the bombs are not on our side tonight. Let's get past that. Yeah, okay, good. You can honk your horn when you're playing the snake, which is the same horn as they had on Dukes of Hazzard, which I have not seen, but I know from social osmosis. Now, in a few screens, we're going to be calling it. I will let you know when time is. It is when we touch the white Mind Stone at the end of this room. And time. We were pretty close to getting sub 14, which is really good. when I picked up this game, there were no speedruns for it. There were a couple of speedruns for it on YouTube, but there was no speedrun page made for it. Nowhere that they were being archived or kept track of. And so at that time, the record was 14:10, with someone claiming a PB of 13:44. We're down sub 13:30 now, which is pretty good. But yeah, I sat on this game for like 6 years. No one had made a speedrun page for it. I think it's a fantastic speed game. There's a lot of stuff to do. There is so much stuff that you did not see in this run that would be great to show off. And so, you know, if you're playing a game and you're thinking, why is no one speedrunning this? There might just be no good reason. It could just be that no one's decided to route it out. So there's my little quip at the end here. Shouts out to mostly Tiger Proof and Twinbeard, creators of Frog Fractions, Glittermitten Grove. It's a very fun game. Now, because this was kickstarted, they list all the Kickstarter backers as assistant to the assistant directors here, which is a sort of fun bit. Now, in a marathon, I might also be pushing for a Destroy the Village incentive, which would entail, you know, going in and messing some stuff up. And to do that, you got to get through the end credits, which you can do by just sort of fast forwarding here. And since, you know, it was a big Kickstarter, there were a lot of names. Though that progressed a bit quicker than expected. It's not, no, can't unclick it. Okay, well, we got, well, the passage of time's going. The fairies still seem to be surviving despite the chaos. No, yeah, that was a quick year. 4 already, huh? Oh. We'll see if we can. Well, maybe the menu button's not working either. Oh boy. Oh no. Too many. There's a lot of butterflies on the screen here. This might not be great for the bit rate for those of you at home. And I don't know if we've ever had a game played that has covered 1,000 years before. Maybe like an Assassin's Creed or something. Well, though it keeps going, and it's going faster. Oh no. Well, oh, okay, well. Oh, we got a message here. Yeah, thanks, Titania. All right, well, I think we can safely say that the village has been destroyed. All right, good night, stream.